People often misunderstand silence. They assume that when someone stops reaching out, it means they no longer care, that they've changed, that they've become cold, distant, or selfish. But psychology tells a very different story. Most people who stop reaching out didn't want to disappear. They didn't wake up one day and decide to cut everyone off. They simply reached a point where continuing felt more painful than letting go. This shift doesn't happen suddenly. It builds quietly, slowly, over time. Here are 5 deep psychological reasons why people stop reaching out. First, emotional exhaustion from one-sided effort. At the beginning, you don't mind being the one who checks in first. You send the message. You ask how they're doing. You keep the connection alive. You tell yourself this is normal. Someone has to try. But over time, something changes. When effort, care, and emotional energy only flow in one direction, the mind starts to feel drained. Psychology calls this emotional burnout. Giving without receiving slowly erodes self-worth. Not dramatically, quietly. Eventually, reaching out stops feeling hopeful. It starts feeling heavy. And that's when silence begins, not because love is gone, but because giving has become too costly. Second, the pain of feeling unnoticed. There's a unique kind of hurt that comes from realizing your absence doesn't matter. When you stop texting and no one asks why. When you go quiet and no one checks in. When your silence goes completely unnoticed. Research shows that the brain often interprets this as rejection, even when none was intended. The mind fills the silence with questions. Did I matter? Was I ever important? Would anyone notice if I disappeared? Over time, people learn a painful truth. Being ignored hurts more than being quiet. So silence becomes a form of protection. Third, anxiety and emotional overload. Not all distance comes from indifference. For people dealing with anxiety, low self-esteem, or emotional overwhelm, communication itself can feel threatening. Reaching out triggers fear of saying the wrong thing, being misunderstood, or becoming a burden. Studies on social withdrawal show that some people value relationships deeply but lack the emotional capacity to maintain them consistently. Their nervous system doesn't lean in, it shuts down. From the outside, it looks like disinterest. On the inside, it's survival. Fourth, lack of emotional language. Many people disappear not because they want to hurt anyone, but because they don't know how to explain what they're feeling. They don't know how to say, I'm overwhelmed. I need space. I feel disconnected and I don't know why. Instead of risking conflict or vulnerability, they choose silence. It's not healthy and it's not fair, but it's a coping strategy. Silence becomes easier than speaking emotions they don't know how to manage. Fifth, choosing boundaries and self-respect. One of the hardest psychological truths is this. Some people stop reaching out because they finally choose themselves. When basic emotional needs, feeling valued, respected, and seen, aren't met, the mind naturally disengages to protect itself. Chasing attention starts to feel humiliating. Explaining yourself feels pointless. Overgiving feels like self-betrayal. So instead of begging for connection, they step back with dignity. That's not bitterness. That's growth. If you've ever stopped reaching out, know this. You are not broken. You are not cold. And you are not unworthy of connection. Sometimes silence isn't absence. It's healing. And choosing yourself isn't selfish. It's necessary.